Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. My name's William. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today we're going to be taking out the Carenado PA34T Seneca Turbo, something along those lines. We're going to be taking it out for a short flight. Some bad weather. We're going to see if we can get up on top of it, maybe do some cloud surfing, and probably wind up shooting an instrument approach in on our landing for our flight using FSEconomy as always. If you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like. It really does help me out a ton. I appreciate all the support. Let's get into it. Welcome on board the Piper PA34T Seneca. Everybody, we're on the ramp here at Alexander Field South. We're going to be making our way up to Delta County in Michigan on the coast of one of the Great Lakes. Flying this by the PA34T Seneca by Carenado. We're going to go ahead and go through, get this thing ready to start up. So we're going to get our battery on. We'll put our beacon on, and then let's go ahead and go through left engine mags, and left engine fuel pump is on. You can see the engine looks like it is clear, so we're going to go ahead and start her up. Alright, we got a good engine start. Let's see, let's hide this for a moment. Nope, hide that for a moment, just make sure, come down. I'm going to crack the throttle open just a little bit. We've got good oil pressure, so we're going to come up now and do the same for the right hand side. First we're going to get our left alternator on. So right engine mags, right engine fuel pump. Make sure it looks like it is clear, and then hit the starter. Alright, it is started up, it looks good, and we've got good oil pressure as well. And gonna let it start warming up just a little bit as we go through. We're gonna get our right alternator on now, and then come down here and get our radio master. We'll go ahead and get our pitot heat on as well. We are gonna use the we'll pull this back up on here. We're gonna use the GTN 750. This is an add-on that you can download from pms50.com. I just have the free version. It puts this nice touchscreen GPS unit here, which I have really been enjoying using. So I'm going to give this a go and get our flight plan set up. We'll be ready to taxi takeoff here in just a moment. Alright, I've got our flight plan set up. It is something I want to go over and kind of show you, but we got a little bit of break in the weather, so we're going to go ahead and make use of this and start our taxi. So we're going to go straight ahead. We're going to be using runway, I believe it's going to be 20 for our departure, which means we're going to go straight ahead here and then make off to the right. Go ahead and get our taxi lights on. And so yes, a right-hand turn here. We're going to go ahead and put our flaps down into the takeoff position. 10 degrees of flaps. So yeah, we're going to go down this way, and then at the very end turn onto runway 20 for our departure. We're going to go ahead and zoom this out a little bit as well. And once we're up in the air, I guess we just briefly go over kind of what our plan is. We're going to see what the weather looks like. There's a lot of rain, storms kind of in the area. See if we can get up on top of it, or if we just got to work our way through some bad weather. We'll just have to see what is kind of in store for us. This is a really pretty plane. Haven't spent a whole lot of time in it, to be perfectly honest, but it's kind of what you expect from Carenado. Very good looking plane. Sounds very good. Flying it is a little bit interesting sometimes, but it is what it is. So we're holding short here. Let's go ahead and get our nav lights on. Go full strobe lights, and we'll go full landing lights as well. Yeah, we don't want to be on pulse, and we'll put our transponder into altitude mode. Looks like we're clear off to the right and clear off to the left. Let's go ahead and take runway 20. And we're going to go ahead and put our flight director on, activate it. Vertical speed mode, we're going to set it at 1500 feet. We're going to arm nav mode and make sure we switch our CDI over to GPS. This is runway 20, so confirmed on that one. Hold our brakes here. Build our power up. Make sure our RPMs look good. They do, so let's add some more power and release the brakes. Alright, our power's set. We're off to the races here, just trying to hold center line. And go for a rotate. Nice and easy on up. Positive rate, and we're getting our gear up. Got to get the gear up pretty early. And we are just going to follow our instruments because we're not really great visibility-wise here. Don't have any great references out either, out the windscreen. So that's one of the reasons I wanted the flight director up. That way we can follow it if we need to, but we're just going to be following our instruments here. Get a little bit of altitude before we start our turns or anything like that. It'll be a right-hand turn. And we'll go ahead and go for it now, as we're getting back into the rain. Does sound really nice. Make sure we keep our climb up. Ease off the right rudder just a little bit. Oh, keep climbing, keep climbing. It is a little bit sensitive in the with your elevator. I feel like I need to get a little bit more used to trimming this plane out to really be comfortable. Yeah, it's like there, I didn't feel like I let off any pressure, and we just basically started to level out, and there as well I didn't feel like I added too much back pressure, and our vertical speed just kind of skyrocketed. It is what it is. We're up through 3,000. We're initially going to try for 11,000 and see if we can break out over the top. If not, we might continue on up, as I really would like to get up on top of the clouds and start do a little bit of cloud surfing on the way in. Let's go ahead now and come on down, and we're going to flip the autopilot master on. We're going to let it take over. Need to come down, lean the mixture a little bit. That is something with this plane. It is, I found I really have to lean the mixture quite a lot as we climb in altitude to keep the performance. Otherwise, the engines just seem like they make no power, even though everything else is kind of checking out. Just want to make sure we capture our course here in just a second, and I'll show you the flight plan as we continue climbing on up. We're going to go ahead and put the radar into standby real quick. And we are indeed capturing it. So we're going to take a look here at this nav unit. We'll zoom it out one more. Kind of see we're going to work our way up to the northeast here. Then we're going to make a turn a little bit more off to the east. Go all the way up to this fix, and that's going to bring us right into Delta County. This is an initial approach fix as well for the ILS for runway, I believe it's runway 9 at Delta County. And with just a click of a button, you're back to exactly on your plane. I don't know, it's a really nice, easy to use unit in my opinion. Lean that mixture out one more time. We're going to pull the power on back to about 35, and we're going to back off our vertical speed just a little bit. So the engine looks fine. We also just want to go ahead and make a glance here, make sure our temperature, it's still above freezing outside, so we don't need to worry about that too much at the moment. So for the moment, I guess the next thing to do is take a look here at our weather radar, and it does not look too good. Does not look too good at all. So we got a big red cell in front of us, quite a ways off. Fortunately, we're going to be making a turn to the right in 25 nautical miles, which is this red pocket there. So we can't really do, we're surrounded by it, we can't really do much about it, but we are almost above it. We can see here. We're not really flying through the red, we're flying through this yellow, almost the green. So let's just see how that plays out. And if we get a pocket in between two layers or something like that, we might just go ahead and level off. Come back down. Lean the mixture a little bit more. It is stormy, stormy, stormy outside. We're going to go ahead and put our standby frequency to 121.425, which is going to show us, or that's going to give us the weather at our destination. If I did have the paid version of this add-on here, I believe anyways it supports these weather things. They're grayed out for me, but if you pay for the subscription to it, I believe you get the weather in flight as well as charts and stuff like that, which is really cool. But just working this on the free version is kind of the way I wanted to showcase it. Plane I really start to fly a lot has it, or it gets into a lot of different aircraft, we'll probably go ahead and pick up a paid subscription. But man, this is we're just in this tiny little window in the clouds. You can't really see much out of the plane, but it is really pretty. We're through 9,300. We're going to keep on going. Let's see, once again on the vertical path, we're basically up above the rain, it looks like. We do have this big red blob way off in the distance though, and hopefully we're going to be able to turn and miss that. We also have a pretty great tailwind as well, worth pointing out. So up at about 10,000, we're going to continue to climb. Power looks good, everything else looks fine to me so far. One thing that kind of irritates me with this aircraft is we do have cowl flaps, but they don't seem to do anything to the temperatures or the performance of the aircraft or its engines. Back into the soup. Let's go ahead and bump our vertical speed down once again to 1,000. Make sure we keep our speed up. So here's 11,000. We're going to keep on climbing because it is rather bumpy in here too. Oh, look at that. That is some pretty stuff. It looks like it's clear off to the right, which is where we're going to be making our turn to. We're through 11,000. We're going to go ahead and continue to climb up to 13, and I think we'll level it out there. So we're about to go back into it, but I think at 13 we might go in and out of the clouds, but really be able to just kind of stay on top of them, which sounds really nice. We'll go ahead and get the landing lights on, or off. We left our strobe lights on through the clouds, which I know it says not to do, but they don't really create a strobe effect in the sim or anything, thankfully. At least not that I've experienced yet. So here comes 12,000 for 13. And we're going to start slowing our climb rate down because we just have to kind of manually capture 13,000 when it comes around. So once we get to about 12.5, we're going to slow it down to about 500 feet a minute. So once again, I want to double check on our vertical profile on the radar. It is all below us. We do have those big red cells, but we should turn well before it. So our turn's coming up in about 11 miles now. Alright, so I wasn't paying attention to the altitude too much, but it's fine. Just go ahead and slow our rate a little bit more. That's why I initially slowed it to 1,000 before. That way we're not just flying on up to it. We'll go ahead and slow it down. Once we get on 13, we're just going to press the altitude button there and have it hold it for us. Alright, so we're level now at 13,000. We're going to go ahead and pull our power on back to, let's go for 32. That sounds like decent for me. We're going to leave the prop in, and our mixture, see, like, we're pulled way back on the mixture. And if I increased it much at all, the engines would kind of just, it seems like they just die, in all honesty. But we are in the clouds. We'll be making our turn here in about 7 nautical miles. Alright, we are making our turn. You can see we are looking like we're going to stay clear of those red cells unless they are moving really, really, really fast. So we're keeping decent power settings and everything because we do want to kind of hurry along and don't want this to kind of meet us at the airport at the same time as we're trying to land. So we're working our way to our next point, which is Iron Mountain, India Mike Tango, 83.5 nautical miles. We're doing about 186 across the ground. Not terrible at all. We're still definitely in the clouds. Haven't quite gotten to breakout yet, unfortunately. But yeah, we're going to cruise along like this for a little bit. Hopefully we will break out. We're showing about 40 minutes to the airport at the moment as well. So hopefully the weather will get better on the way in, and we can start getting a look at the ILS for runway 9 here into Delta County pretty soon. Wow. Yeah, we're not getting on top of those. It's a nice little break in the clouds, but we're going right back in. The tailwind has definitely picked up a little bit, though, it looks like. We're doing over 200 knots, almost 210 knots, and the really smooth air in between. The second we get back in, it's a little bit more turbulent, looks like, and we're instantly dropping right back down. But fortunately, it is mostly on our tail, and it should be as we continue off to the east. It just gets a little bit clearer for us. You can see we really zoom out. You see it's lightening up just a little bit as we get out closer to about 120 miles, which our next point's about 60 away at the moment, so about halfway there. Hopefully it will clear up a touch for us. This would be a situation for sure where it would be pretty nice to have like the next rad or something like that to FSB to come and show up on the map. That way you could really just see exactly where it is and what the weather looks like around there or around the airport. But we've also got frequency we can plug in to help us pick up weather as well. So that's what we're going to be doing before too long, starting our descent down and making our approach in, hopefully a pretty smooth one too. So here we go again. I think we might be about to break out. see just above it, we might be going through just the very tippy top of the cloud. A little bit of a break right there, and that was about it. Right back in. We are just about 10 miles from our turn. At this point, we can take a look real quick at our radar and see we're quite zoomed out, but we can see it is a little bit stormy if we continued up to the north. But since we are going to be turning and heading pretty well to the east, hopefully we will be kind of on the skirts of it, if anything. If not, hopefully we will have a little bit of luck with it, and we've got some better weather for the approach in. But we are, like I said, going to be planning for the ILS. If need be, that'll get us down to 200 feet. If we can't see it from there, then well, we're kind of screwed anyway. So yeah, about 6 miles now. We're going to stay at 13,000 after the turn. We're going to see if we can pick up the weather for Delta County, and then start getting ready for the ILS approach into runway 09, as long as the weather still says that one's the one that makes sense. Alright, so we are now direct to Delta County. We're going to go ahead and switch over to 121.425, see if we can pick up the weather, and then go through figuring out what we're doing for the approach.
Kilo Echo Sierra Charlie, automated weather observation 1900 Zulu. Wind 155 at 15. Visibility 10. Sky condition, few clouds at 700 feet, few clouds at 4,500 feet, few clouds at 11,700 feet. Temperature 20C dew point, 10C altimeter 2962.
Want to hear the wind one more time?
Charlie, automated weather observation 1900 Zulu. Wind 155 at 15.
155 at 15. That's way different than what it was reporting. It should have been on our way up here. Just double check one more time. That is no bueno. So we've got runway 19er available. 19er, runway 19er, runway 9er, and 27 available to us. If we used runway 19, we're looking at a RNAV GPS approach. We can take a look at that. That might be our best bet. That'd get us down to what does that get us down to? About 700 feet. That should work okay if we want to. So let's go ahead and plan for that. If the wind does say 155, we'll just scratch the GPS approach for now. So let me get the approach plate pulled up on my end, because I didn't have that one ready to go. So RNAV GPS runway 19 into Delta County. Let's see, our approach course is going to be 184. Runway landing length is about 5,015 feet. Airport elevation 609. Let's see, we've already got the weather. We're going to go in our first point. 2,700 feet is CSIS, then Hury at 2,200, and from there all the way down to 1220, which is our go-around point, basically. So let's go ahead and pull up home, procedures, approach, RNAV 19er, CSIS, yep, that will work. So CSIS, Hiri, and then in, and we'll load and activate. Let's make sure, why does it do that? It's taking us direct to Hiri. Yeah, I'm not a fan. But if I don't run it through here, it's not going to pick up. Oh, that is annoying. Alright, well that is the final approach fix. So we'll just roll with it for what it's worth. So we're going to hit it at 2200 is going to be our plan, I guess. Yeah, so it's going to swing us out around kind of as if we were hitting CSIS and then down to Hiri and then in. But it is just a little bit annoying. So let's still go for 2700 for our initial, which is going to be about 1,000 feet per minute here in we'll wait a couple minutes and then start our way down. See the weather radar, we're going to be out of the green here in just a moment, but it is below us still. I'll bring it down so it's a little bit easier to see. It is below us by quite a bit, the actual rain. That threw a little bit of a wrench in our plans, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and pull the power on back. We'll do 27. We're going to put the prop, or leave the prop where it's at, and we're going to come down on the vertical speed to 1,000 feet per minute. Start making our way down to 2,700. And planning to cross Harry, whatever, at 2,200. And at that point, it should let us go all the way down to 1,220. And hopefully we've just got the field in sight before then anyways. But if not, 1,220 is our go-around point, which is going to be a climb to 1,100, then climbing right turn to 2,700 direct to CSIS and hold. Well, I'm not so sure we're going to need to worry about that instrument approach as long as we can kind of hurry in for runway 19er. So we have the field over there, I believe. It's kind of taking us out, loop around, basically. And as if we were doing the full RNAV GPS 19er approach, we're still going to go ahead and go through with it. But really, the weather is perfect. So now all we got to worry about is this wind, and see what it has in store for us. It was saying 155 at 15, which if that's the case, 19er is basically the only one I'd be comfortable using, just because it would be a pretty good crosswind with it at about 15 knots. So we'll go ahead and stick to it the way it is. We just want to continue coming on down nice and gentle. Let's also we can go ahead and get our weather radar off. You see we're all the way through the other side of the storms there. Some low clouds on the leading edge of it as well, though, so if it is sweeping its way into the airport, which based off of our tailwind the entire way here, I would say is a pretty safe bet. We just need to make sure that we are making our approach in, getting it down on the ground, and getting it parked up basically without too much fuss. So we're about to start our arc in, and then we should be on a final course here before too long to Delta County. Okay, since our altitude is basically at or above 2,700, we're going to go ahead and level it here at, I think we're going to continue down to about 3,500, since we are kind of just arcing in. And then once we're on our final inbound course, we'll go ahead and go down to it's at or above 2200 for hooray or Hiri or whatever it is. And from there we will see if it's just going to pick up the kind of glide slope on the way down. This approach, I believe, should actually not have that. The word for it is kind of escaping me at the moment. And I'm not 100% sure that this airplane would be able to fly it anyways, but I don't know enough about the avionics there to really say one way or another. But we're going to see if it will. If it doesn't, we have a visual basically of the airport already anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. We're going to go ahead and see. Nope, that was the wrong way on the vertical speed. So we're going a little lower than 3,500, but that's fine. We'll just level it here at about 34 as it starts to kind of arc our way around. And we'll go ahead and get, we can go with pulse lights here. That will work nicely. Strobe lights, all that's still good. Let's see, we're going to continue. We are nice and slow right now at the moment. We could bump our power back up just a little bit more since we aren't descending. I want to keep it below about 120 knots though, because we could put our gear down at, I believe it's under 129 knots. And take a look down here. 129 knots is the maximum gear down speed, and we're right at 120 indicated. We'll just try and keep it around there. So we've got 1,200 feet to go on our descent, and basically it's just kind of flying this arc around almost as if we were doing like a DME arc in, which is kind of interesting, but it is what it is. And we do have our airfield in sight, I believe, all the way down there. The beautiful clouds. Unfortunately, it is nice and high up above us. I do wish we got a better reading of what the weather was doing whenever we listen in on the frequencies, but it's a little bit of a guessing game between looking at what it's actually doing in real life and then what it reports in the sim. Alright, it's going to continue to turn in. I think we're going to have one or two more of these little turns and we'll be on our final approach course. Alright, we are on our final approach course now, I believe. 6 miles from Harry, and let's see, about 5 miles from the field at this rate. And go ahead and start down just nice and slow. 2,200 feet is what we're shooting for. We got plenty of time to make it down to that. We could also go ahead and switch over to the approach mode here. Just make sure we pull back on the power. Not that much though. Let's see, we are below 129 as that's 130. So we can go ahead and go gear down. And now, if we want, we can pull the power back without getting that gear horn. So the gear is down, continuing on down through 3,000 or 2,200. To keep our flaps up and everything, just keep a decent forward speed. It's a nice little area right on, it is like right on the coast here, the Great Lakes. There's 2,600 for 22. Just leveling it out a little bit more. Let's go ahead and go flaps 10. Make sure we've got a little bit of power in. And we definitely do have a headwind, 99 knots across the ground, showing about 110 indicated. 2300. So we're going to go ahead and 1.2 miles from the fix. And we're just going to level it out. It's close enough. Don't need that much power. Just pull it back a little bit. Alright, so we're not going to give it too long afterwards. If it doesn't start doing anything, which like I said, it shouldn't be following any vertical guidance. But we're going to see just because I'm curious. Either way, we have the field in sight, so we can go ahead and proceed in, and it is. Yep, I had a feeling it would. So there we go, we got some vertical guidance. We'll let it fly us in for a moment or two. And then we'll go ahead and take over. Let's go ahead and get the next notch of flaps out. And start slowing this thing down a little bit more as we descend in. So this would take us all the way down to 1220. If we were flying the approach in. I believe it is just an LNAV approach, so it shouldn't have, it's not like an LPV approach, which to my understanding is the kind of approach that would have the glide slope. But yeah, it'd take us down to 1220, which is just about 600-ish feet above the ground. So it is quite a difference over an ILS approach that's going to take you all the way down to 200 feet above the ground, but as we can see, we didn't need it in the end anyways. So we let it take us down to 1500 here, and we're going to go ahead and deactivate it and fly the rest of this thing. Start slowing down just a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and go full flaps now. Need a little bit more nose up trim. And I'm kind of waiting for it. We're going to get on the ground and look at the windsock, and it's going to be like blowing perfectly for if we wanted to do that ILS for runway 9. But it is what it is. Alright, we want to keep slowing down a little bit more. We're on short final here. The little screen on the window, the part that's the heated area, it makes it pretty weird to do these approaches. You're trying to keep the happy lights in sight. Just a little touch low there. It's okay, we're just aiming for the 1,000 footers now. Yeah, the wind really does look like on that windsock. It looked like it was set up for runway 9. Oh well. We did something. Some sort of an approach. And power all the way out. We went a little long, but that's just fine. Plenty of room. And we are down on the ground. We're going to see if we can make this first exit. And we'll clean the aircraft up once we get off. Interesting one this time. It's different than what I normally do, as we really, I mean, spent the majority of that flight in the clouds. So I'd be interested to know what you guys think of doing that kind of stuff. Do a little bit better job with approaches and stuff if we're going to do that, in my opinion. But it is what it is. For this one, we're going to go ahead and get our flaps all the way up. And go ahead and get our pitot heat off. We can also turn our landing lights off and put our strobe back to the fin with our taxi light on. Let's see. There was one other thing I was going to do. Oh yeah, we're going to go ahead and zoom all the way in on this map, which does make it quite nice when you're taxiing around and whatnot. So we're just going to make a left and continue on to the ramp. Oh, and we're going to open this up because it's a little too quiet in here. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I mean, I really do enjoy flying in the weather, doing approaches and that kind of thing. I think I could do a better job than we did this time around, but for a nice FSEconomy flight, it is nice to not always just do GPS direct or stuff like that, and kind of actually take a nice little path, do an approach, have some interesting weather to try and navigate. So your feedback on that would be appreciated. We've got to make a right turn here, down and off to the ramp. And we'll bring this flight to an end here in just a moment. But as always, I do just want to say I really do appreciate all the support from y'all. It does mean a ton. I enjoy being able to share these flights with you guys. I know I pretty much say that every time, but I really do. If you want my opinion on the Seneca as well, I didn't do a video on it or anything like that. I picked it up rather late. There's tons of people that do great videos on the full reviews of these things, but I really do enjoy it. It's a twin with some decent character, and it's you know, Carenado stuff is always looks nice. The way it flies, sometimes I know some people have opinions on it, but I do enjoy them. I enjoy the way they look. I enjoy the way they sound, and I do enjoy the way they fly, along with the addition of this great GTN 750, which you can get. The way I used it is completely for free, and once again, that's available at that link down there, and I think it's integrated into you can use it basically in any plane that has a G1000 default in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 anyways, and there's a bunch of third-party people adding it to the aircraft as well. So I hope you all did enjoy the flight. I had a good time. It was definitely different and an interesting one. Until next time, bye-bye.